It says in the Bible to flee from lust, not walk, not jog, flee, run from it. And I want to talk about lust. A lot of people have anecdotal experiences on the benefits of semen retention or voluntary celibacy. And there's two pathways that this kind of like practice takes people down. Either the spiritual route, where they start believing in, manifestation, or they get closer to Christ or whatever. Or they go down the route where they look at their vices, like the introspective route. And I found it really interesting that for something that has such a big community behind it and something that has so many benefits attached to it that people report, there's no scientific studies that support its effectiveness. Lust is necessary because it gives you the drive to procreate. I'm speaking more so for men, but testosterone and dopamine are usually viewed as like hormones that make you feel good and that make you a man or strong. But we don't take into account the fact that both of these act as driving forces behind motivation. Dopamine triggers you to seek more dopamine. Testosterone increases your motivation to achieve things. When both of these are high levels of dopamine and high levels of testosterone, they compound over each other. Where lust comes into play is it can slowly dig deeper and deeper into your psyche from both sides. As a man, you'll see some kind of content or person or trigger that puts you into a state of lust. And that state puts you in an emotional peak, right? The dopamine starts to flow and you want it more. If you indulge in that state, that feedback loop makes you want it again. But the issue is that the hit won't be the same when you get it again. So you're always playing this game of wanting to get to that same peak, and it gets really, really bad. And this is the story that happens to a lot of guys. They start off really young and they get exposed to something, right? Whether it be a video, a website, whatever. And then once becomes twice. But the second time's never as good as the first. And once a week becomes twice a week. Twice a week becomes three times becomes every day. Every day becomes multiple hours a day. Multiple hours a day starts translating into the real world, where now you have partners that normally you have these ideas for things that you want to do that are way outside of yourself. And then you gain these kind of desires, you know what I'm trying to say here, that, they get up in intensity, and now you start wanting to do things that are just uncommon. And I feel like it's even worse for women, to be honest. I can't speak on behalf of, but I can say I've had conversations about this topic, and they'll say things like, oh, like I'm in like this feral state. It intensifies. It goes from like, yeah, it's like, something I want to do, to taking up your entire headspace. It's the only thing you think about. And then you start looking online for toys and products that you don't own or that you never would do. It changes you. It can grip you in a way where your behavior starts to be erratic. You turn into a weirdo, to be honest. You're trying to scratch that itch of lust. And some people say, oh, well, just watch something, just get yourself off. But that's the problem, because it compounds. Those two hormones work together. And then that drive that you have, it's directed from something that's meaningful or purposeful to you to satisfying a fleshly craving. It's like the analogy of the frog and the boiling water, right? If you throw a frog into boiling water, it's gonna jump out. But if you put it in there and the water's lukewarm, if you slowly turn up the heat, it won't even notice. And that's how lust gets you, because you normalize it. Go to Japan. They have mountains. They have stores 7 floors up dedicated to adult content. Dedicated. It's a loneliness epidemic over there. Their birth rate is declining. Why do you think that is? Why do you think that is? Oh, Michael, they're busy with work. They have a hard work culture. Yeah, of course they do. But you know what they do outside of work? They stay alone and they fulfill that companionship with gooning. And it breaks relationships. That lust it creates, you'll never be happy. You'll never be content because you'll always want the next thing. It even says in the Bible that if you look at someone sexually, you've already committed a sin. You've already adulterated in your mind. Because the gaze, not the gaze, but the gaze, because your eyes, they signal intention. Understand that it's a deliberate effort because it'll come back. It'll come back. You don't beat lust. You can't ignore the flesh. You can't ignore hunger. Hunger will always come back. You have to acknowledge the role it plays in your life and you can't let it govern you. Lust can make you do things that just is not logically sound. And it will cause serious problems for you. Now, how do we escape lust? Let's talk about some solutions because I don't want to just talk about the problem. You have to recognize the problem first and foremost. Recognize it as an issue. Recognize how much power it has over you and step away from it with intention. If you need prayer, pray. If you need distractions, distract yourself. If you need to go on a walk, if you need to play a sport, if you need to have a hobby, do that. The idle mind is the devil's playground, and those thoughts will come up when nothing else is around. You need to find something that means something to you and move towards it. Use that as the metric for your time. Set a schedule for yourself. Keep yourself busy. Have a reason to not fall into those kinds of temptations. Because if you don't have safeguards in place, it will come back. It will come back. It's a fleshly desire, so be ready for it. You can't ignore it, but you can change the way you react to it. The biggest thing and the most important piece of advice I can give is to flee from lust. Take it serious. This is a very serious topic, and it sounds like I'm trying to make it like bigger than it is, but it's very, very important to manage your self-control. Don't let your vices control you. Because if your vices run your life, you're no better than an animal. Flee from lust. And watch this video. Subscribe. And I'll catch you in the next one. Also join the winner's circle.